So we had a really bad windstorm last night, for those that are not living here. And this is what happened. We had some trees come down. Yeah. It rained. It was super windy. The wind was blowing in a different direction than it usually does. So these trees were not ready to handle that. And then that happened. So, it is a mess here. Power was out for a while. Some people are still without power in our town. So, that one just snapped. And these ones, that one came right up by the root. And it's on the garage. There's some damage done to the roof. So, yeah. So, as in the spirit of Chevy Chase, it's gonna be a happy Christmas. And where's the Tylenol, right?
Hey, how's it going? So this is actually our first video of 2023. We had a pretty wild end of 2022, didn't we?
Yes.
What was it, the day before Christmas Eve? Came home, big windstorm. And as you can see in the video that we showed before this, had 3 trees come down on our garage. Which is where this room is. This is my main cave up in the garage. Pulling the dooryard so the garage doors wouldn't open. And I actually was standing out beside my truck when the trees actually came down to the garage. I kind of peeked around the side of the garage and it's like, holy smokes. There's a very big hole in our tree line.
Got a problem.
So we had 3 holes in the roof, branches in through the roof. And so yes, some guys showed up, pretty promptly to help us remove it. And I had a contractor reach out to me to come out and close things up really quick. And if anyone knows, if they've tried to get a hold of a contractor recently, it's next to impossible to find someone. So anyway, I guess the reason for this video is we kind of wanted to do an update, and I wanted to kind of get on a little more of a personal level. I've never formally introduced really myself or Lacey or my father, who we are, what we do, and then share some updates for what we have planned for this year for the channel. We got some pretty cool stuff that I think we want to do. Just to start off real quick, so one thing that's really touched me is there's been a lot of people that have commented on, there's been a lot of dialogue with these videos, and a lot of people have shared a lot of things with me. And so one thing that kind of led me to want to do something, a video like this, is a lot of people have shared the fact that, you see a lot of videos of me hunting with my father, and a lot of people share that maybe their father's passed away, or isn't able to hunt anymore. So they share the fact that they miss hunting with their father. There's been a common thread. And the other thing that's near and dear to my heart, which I've talked about before, is kind of my motto is, get outside, it's good for the soul. And that kind of stems to my interest in wellness and the importance that the outdoors plays in wellness as a whole. So Lacey and I both work in healthcare. I'm a pharmacist, and you're
I'm an occupational therapist.
So for those who don't know what an occupational therapist is there's someone who helps someone find a job.
No, I do not help people find jobs.
A lot of people think that.
Yeah, occupational therapy is one of those terms that kind of gets lost in the mix. Everybody knows what a physical therapist is and a speech therapist. It's pretty self-explanatory, but OT is quite a magical field in a lot of ways. Many OTs that go into the field have such a big heart and love what they do, but we kind of have to explain a lot of the time what it is we do. So what OT actually is when you're working across the age span or the lifespan that way. Basically, we work with individuals to help facilitate a greater quality of life depending on what area it is, and what they're looking to improve, and what's going on between them, their environment, and then the tasks that they want to perform. So we call those occupations. So that's where the term occupational therapist comes in. It's a very broad field. You can get really specific in what niche you want to work in. You basically can work with from birth to the end of life across the continuum of ages. And the different specialty areas include pediatrics, outpatient peds, school-based pediatrics.
You predominantly
ergonomics, you can go, like, sky's the limit with OT.
You predominantly focus on
I predominantly focus
and old people, geriatric.
Well, predominantly now I'm a stay-at-home mom, homeschooling.
Yep.
When I am working on the side, it's with pediatrics in terms of school-based services or potentially with outpatient, private-based outpatient services with children. However, I do have a history of working with geriatrics, skilled nursing patients.
Yeah. And I'm fortunate that as a pharmacist, I work for an independent pharmacy in northern Maine. So we're kind of a one-stop shop. You know, your general community pharmacy stuff, and then some long-term care stuff, so nursing homes, stuff like that, and then compounding, and basically the whole gamut. So I think everyone pretty much knows what a pharmacist does. So Lacey and I both understand the importance of the outdoors as a therapeutic modality, and it's important for us, and we really feel it's important for other people. So I kind of want to take a second to explain our story and how we get to this point, because I think it could help people who maybe are thinking of starting a business or who want to do something, they really want to step outside of their comfort zone, but they're afraid to.
Or I'd say if you're in your early 20s and just specifically and you feel like you have to make a decision that's your one-stop shop for the rest of your life.
No.
This is kind of for you to listen to.
Yeah. So it was kind of a circuitous way we get to this point. And it really is about stepping out and really pushing yourself into things maybe that you, maybe in the back of your head you think, maybe I can't do this, maybe I'm not smart enough, or I don't have the money to do it. So whether it's starting a business or going to college or whatever venture you want to start, if you want to write a book. And I like to say, 90% of the battle is just showing up. And kind of things will just fall in place. If you really just put yourself out there. And we only have one life to live. It's not a dress rehearsal. Who just wants to coast by and never know what they truly could have been? So we got married in 2007. And I had finished my undergrad. I got a degree in biology and minored in chemistry and a bunch of other science stuff.
You're a geek.
A bunch of other science crap. And anyway,
nerd.
So back in 2007, we were newly married. I was working a government job.
I was finishing my undergrad, but was realizing that something wasn't going to work for me.
OT was always on your radar.
So OT had always been on my radar, but I wasn't completely ready to make this, change and leave where I was living because I had to go away for the program. And when we got married, it changed in terms of I'll maybe consider education or social work. And I tried those two fields, took a semester, started just one first day of classes, and I went and I was like, I can't do this. I just knew deep down, this isn't gonna work. So instead of pushing myself and avoiding that internal message, I came home and I told Paul, I was like, I have to go to OT school.
Yeah.
So whether that means I'm gonna have to get an apartment and travel a couple hours and then come home on the weekends, we're gonna figure something out because I can't lie to myself.
Yeah. So and then for me, 6 months into working, I was sitting in my office and I'm like, I can't see myself doing this for the rest of my life. What's my purpose? What's my why? What's my reason for
I think
doing
we
this?
were both kind of at that point.
Yeah, so
each
there
of
was
us at the same time.
There was this incongruency that something wasn't right. But we had a lot of challenges ahead of us. One, we had no money, right? Newly married.
Still finishing college.
You're still finishing college.
You had a great job.
I had a good job. Most people would die to have.
Good health benefits.
But it just wasn't.
But it wasn't fulfilling.
Right. It wasn't fulfilling. I'm like, there's something else that I gotta do. So we started looking for you. Went and visited a couple colleges, a couple universities, and in that process, I ended up running into the head of the chemistry department at one of the schools, and he kind of mentioned, we got talking, asked me what I did, and then he kind of mentioned pharmacy, and then my wheels got turning, and it was on the ride home, I think, we had a long drive back to northern Maine, And I just got the idea, why don't we both go to school? Now it made 0 sense, right? Because we're gonna have no income, we're married. It's like, how the heck are both of us gonna go to school and survive? The logistics of it, right? So you're thinking like, well, this is impossible. A lot of risk. You're not even accepted into the program yet, and you're quitting a job and making this venture. And that's exactly what we did. I quit my job. We basically got rid of anything that had a payment. And, you know, it was the best. How long were we there? 6 years? 5 years?
Yeah, 5, I think.
And we had no money, and just Lacey and I, and it was probably the best time of our life. The amount of personal growth that occurred, but it really...
Well, there were still some struggles and
stressful.
trials. I don't know, pneumonia, car accidents,
So in that process,
jobs,
graduating. One thing that popped up was wellness. And I can remember the exact moment I was sitting at a desk, reading a study on diabetes, and I was putting down a bag of Twizzlers and a box of Gobstoppers at like midnight, reading this stuff. I was overweight, hadn't been feeling that great. I had a knee that was bothering me. And that was the first moment that I was like, how can I tell people that, you know, they got to do certain things when I'm not doing it myself? And so that kind of got us on the journey to wellness. So we changed some things up health-wise. It basically was a lifestyle change. And then, you know, we finished up everything down there, moved back to northern Maine, which we had no plans initially to move back here.
No, that was just something else that fell into place too.
That kind of
With job offers
happens. And so we've always, you know, realized the importance of outdoors and how that applies to health and wellness. And I've got a video that I'll link up here that explains why I started a YouTube channel. And I really want to link, you know, the importance of the outdoors tied in with all the outdoor hobbies we like to do. You know, hunt, fish, hike.
Occupations.
So those are all occupations, that's right. And they're very important.
With nature being the environment.
Nature being the environment. And the outdoors in itself is therapeutic. There's studies that show it helps with working memory. It helps de-stress. Makes you feel good. There's so many, your senses, which is your area of expertise as far as...
Well, there's a lot of input that you can get from being out in nature. So through your visual system, you know, what you're seeing, the sounds, the feel on your skin, the tactile components. And also, I mean, if you are engaging in anything that has vestibular components, which is, you know, your balance and also where you're at in space with even like walking through snow and you're pushing through your feet. Yeah. That's proprioceptive through your joints. So you're getting a lot of feedback, whether it's running, if you're swinging, if you're climbing, you know, as kids are rolling around on the ground. Like, nature just has a way of being able to provide you all those sensory experiences which are helpful to your overall well-being. Yeah. But when you talked about memory,
working memory,
so
it helps with attention.
There's a lot of research that you can dig into and you can look up, and there's a lot of books now too that talk about the importance of nature and your wellness and how it impacts your well-being. But even if you just think of mental health and de-stressing, anxiety levels, bringing your breathing back into a good rhythm, which helps with, you know, heart rate and blood pressure. So you can go down like all these different trails.
And on a personal note, that's been my go-to ever since I can remember, as far as basically debugging. So let's say in pharmacy school, I'm super stressed and I'm trying to study. Sometimes you kind of hit a wall where you're just trying to force yourself to do something and you're not in the mindset. So whether it's a stressful day at work, school, whatever it is, one of the first things I would do is I would drop everything and I would go work out, or I'd go outside and do something. And I've also explained to you too about like deer hunting. The first day when I'm out deer hunting, it's almost like a mental, I don't know how to explain it.
Well,
like you mentally just like,
first day of deer hunting, for one, you've changed environments, which are totally different from what you're doing day to day in pharmacy, for example, at work. Yeah. With lots of high-paced, fast-paced cognitive, critical thinking skill type stuff, and then, you know, phones ringing and people talking.
It's nonstop.
Just constant boom, 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 boom. Yeah. And then you get out in nature and it's quiet and it's peaceful and it's still. So you've just gone from like here to...
Yeah, I literally...
And there's an adjustment that has to take place.
Yeah, and I kind of did a video on it when I was out deer hunting, I think last year. But the audio didn't come out right. You really couldn't hear me, so I didn't really do anything with it. But it was my first day out in the woods. And for like the first hour or two, and I don't know if anyone else has ever experienced this, is I just get kind of dizzy. Kind of almost like
kind of disoriented. Yeah.
And, but I'll tell you what, after especially a full week in the woods, whether I'm fishing or I'm hunting, when I come out, there's such a calm that I don't have prior to going. And there's an ability to, you think so much clearer.
Well, when you're in the woods too, if you notice how the trees run vertically, and there's lots of things are the same color, and if you're scanning or trying to find an animal that could be blending in, camouflaged or whatever, you are using an area of your visual perception from your brain that can be a challenge if you are overstressed, or if you're nervous, if your nervous system is running way too high. So when you get out in the woods, it can be really hard for you to like kind of recalibrate that
I would say,
at first. That's why you probably feel dizzy and disoriented, because your visual system's like taking in something that you're not used to doing.
Correct.
But once you get grounded out there, it's like everything just kind of slows. And like I even tell people, like, because it can be overwhelming, thinking you have to, I gotta get outside today, I gotta get outside today. But if you can just even make it a goal, like, I'm gonna walk to the mailbox and get my mail every day, or I'm gonna walk around my house. Just getting that fresh air, you'll start to feel it, and then you'll be more inclined to like, I want to go out. Yeah.
And that's the thing, we, you know, especially in this world of ADD or ADHD, whatever you want to call it, you don't see kids outside anymore. When I was a kid, the block I grew up on, it was constant. There was kids outside everywhere. Community football games, basketball games, it was all the time. And that doesn't happen anymore. And it negatively affects people's health. And I really think it's important to get out there, the therapeutic aspect of being out in nature.
The best place for children to be and learn is out in nature. Get them out of the four walls and try to just immerse them in just the natural beauty and wonder around us, because it's good for us. It was intended that way.
Good.
So when you do that, you start to just become more mindful and aware. And I've read some things that people, like, you know, they go outside and they don't even realize the crunching of the snow under their feet, or they don't realize the smell in the air, because we're so used to being in this fast-paced hustle bustle mode all the time. And I think we really need to kind of come back.
You have to slow down to take it all in.
We have to be intentional.
Your brain ends up being your brain's good at dumping information that it finds unnecessary. So when you live in a hustle bustle life, there's a lot of input that your brain is teasing out, saying this isn't important, this isn't important, this isn't important, and you never really take that in. But when you're out in nature and you want to take in more of that, and you're not used to doing it, it's almost like you need to slow down and kind of retrain things and rewire your brain to start accepting more of these external signals that are coming in from all around, instead of just hyper-focused on the task at hand and blocking everything else that your brain is thinking is unimportant.
For all the hunters, you are actually engaging in something that is really good for you in a lot of different ways. And if you want to know more all the technical stuff and look at research to support it, like, we can give that to you, but it's not rocket science a lot of times.
No.
But just know that you are getting out and going hunting, getting out and being in nature, getting out and seeing the different wildlife and animals, bird watching, seeing the squirrels, the chipmunks, the sunsets, the colors of the sky.
Yeah.
All the plants and greenery. I mean, those are all things that are benefiting you, and even though you might not even think of it or realize it as you're chasing down a deer, there's something else going on at the same time.
Yeah, so, just wanted to share, you know, who we are. And we have 3 kids.
Oh yeah, by the way.
Can't forget about the 3 kids.
Which they wanted to be in the video.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess enough about us.
So, well, before that, and so back to being a stay-at-home mom right now, chose to take a different approach with education and going into homeschooling.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to have more control over
what our kids learn and how they learn it.
That, but also the environment in which it's happening, and giving them the sense of the wonder of the world around us before, their childhood is gone.
Because anything can turn into a school day.
Anything can be a school day. There's learning everywhere around us.
We'll be out bird hunting.
You can nature journal anywhere. You can go to a veterinarian's appointment and learn,
Yeah.
But
takes a little intentionality.
You have to know your why and your purpose, but nature was also a big reason wanting to choose to do something because it's good and beautiful and worth it for yourself and your well-being and your children's well-being.
Yeah.
So nature has played a big part in even that decision.
Yep.
And that way, we can take advantage of that while we have it.
So that's who we are. Yeah, so as far as going forward this year, we got some ice fishing stuff coming up, and then obviously spring ice out fishing. I like to do a lot of woodworking, so we might delve into some, I'd like to build a cedar strip canoe. Whether we get to that this year, we'll see. My father built one a few years back, and it came out beautiful. So we may do a cedar strip canoe build. What else? There's all kinds of, maybe some additional camping stuff that we're gonna, shotgun stuff, shooting stuff.
Have a dog to train.
Get a dog to train,
for bird hunting.
Bird hunting.
More chickens.
I don't know if we'll do chicken stuff on this channel.
No, but we're gonna get more chickens.
Yeah.
Which is part of nature.
And it's actually worked out good.
Been
Has anyone seen the price of eggs?
If you need any eggs.
Lacey, that's another thing. She bugged me for years about getting chickens. And I'm like, gosh, Lacey, I don't want chickens. I don't want more stuff to take care of. We're pretty busy. And lo and behold, we buy chickens, and man, the eggs have gone up in price like crazy. So that's kind of worked out.
Maybe a couple goats.
Okay, let's slow her down. We got the dog and the chickens now. Let's keep her at bay. So yeah, I just want to say I appreciate everyone's comments. I will comment to every person that comments. I value every one of them. Anyone that takes the time to watch a video is pretty special to me. So yeah, anyone that comments, I'll always leave a comment and share anything. I really enjoy dialogue. I am interested in people's lives. I want to add value to people's lives. That's part of the reason why I started a YouTube channel. Trying to integrate the fact that the outdoors, while it's fun, it's something I love, and a lot of people love to do it. And I love watching outdoor videos, hunting videos and fishing videos. But there's also a therapeutic aspect to it that may not be readily apparent to people.
Basically, what you're saying is nature is the best drug for your well-being.
By far. Nature is the best drug for your well-being that you could ever imagine. There's no side effects, and it's cheap.
And it's a good addiction.
It is. So
you get the good dopamine, serotonin responses.
That's right. So yeah, I appreciate, like I said, everyone's comments of the past year or so, a little over a year. And we've been having a blast and got a lot of good things coming. So hopefully we didn't bore you too much. But just wanted to share our story and maybe
comment too if what you think of nature or how it impacts you.
Yeah, sure. And like I said, ask questions, anything. I kind of just want to be a community of people to share stuff and share how they feel, thoughts. Maybe they don't like something, I don't care. Go ahead and tell me. We have a lot of fun stuff planned going
Maybe
forward.
some cool t-shirts or sweatshirts might come out this year.
Yeah, we'll see.
We did some hats.
Did some hats.
Maybe we'll do another giveaway
we'll
later
do-
on this year.
we'll do another
for some other merchandise.
We'll do another
see.
giveaway. Yeah, you know, I've gotten to know some people on a personal level, and I just kind of wanted to share a little more about what we're about, who we are, what we do, and why it is that we do what we do. So,
Until next time,
you stole my line. Get outside.
it's good for the soul.
See ya.